Why do minor car accident injuries sometimes get big payouts? Imagine walking away from a minor car accident thinking you're fine, only to find out later that your injuries are more serious than they seemed. Sometimes, small crashes lead to surprisingly large settlements, and it all comes down to a few key factors. Even if the initial injury looks minor, the real costs and effects can be much bigger. One reason is hidden or delayed medical issues. For example, what looks like a simple whiplash or soft tissue injury might turn into a long-term problem. Sometimes injuries develop over time, causing chronic pain or mobility issues. If medical records and expert evaluations show that these injuries will need ongoing treatment or therapy, the settlement can be increased to cover those future costs. Another reason is how the injury affects daily life and work. Even minor injuries can make it hard to do everyday tasks or go to work. If the injury causes someone to miss work or limits their ability to enjoy hobbies, they might be entitled to compensation for pain, suffering, or emotional distress. These non-economic damages can add up quickly, especially if the injury leads to a permanent limitation. Medical expenses and lost wages are also big factors. If a small injury results in multiple doctor visits, physical therapy sessions, or time off work, the total costs can be quite high. For example, if someone needs physical therapy for 6 weeks and misses 2 weeks of work, the combined expenses and lost income can significantly increase the payout. Insurance coverage and liability are also important. If the at-fault driver has high insurance limits, the settlement can be larger, even if the injury seems minor. Clear liability makes it easier to get a bigger payout because the insurance company is more confident about paying the claim. On the other hand, if fault is disputed or coverage is low, the settlement might be smaller. Legal strategies and proper documentation also matter. Skilled personal injury attorneys gather detailed medical records, expert opinions, and evidence of emotional or psychological impacts. This helps show the full extent of harm, even if the injury looks minor at first. Well-prepared cases can persuade insurers or courts to award larger settlements. State laws and how fault is determined can influence the amount of compensation. Some states allow injured parties to recover damages even if they are partly at fault for the accident. This legal framework can lead to bigger payouts for minor injuries if the person is found to be partially responsible. In the end, settlements for minor car accident injuries often consider more than just the initial injury. They look at the long-term costs, how the injury affects daily life, and the legal and insurance factors involved. That's why even small crashes can sometimes result in big payouts when all these elements are taken into account.